If you haven't seen already, which I imagine anyone who knows anything about video games does, or you've clicked on this video, you'll know that The Elder Scrolls 6 will be coming out at some point in the next 1 month to 9 years. Anywhere in that timescale. I really hope that they don't fuck it up. There's a few things that I know that I'd like to see in the game, and there's a few things, that I'd like to see them leave in, basically, because I don't want them to change the game so much that it's unusable, unplayable. I don't want to see another situation like Fallout New Vegas. Granted, Fallout New Vegas wasn't created by Bethesda, it's created by Obsidian Studios, I'm pretty sure. But Fallout 4 from New Vegas, it didn't feel the same. They need to make sure they don't lose that element of difficulty and the sense of exploration and excitement you get from playing an Elder Scrolls game. Granted, the Elder Scrolls is, it's an open world game. It will have its bugs, its problems, but there's a few minor things that they could really touch upon. I'm going to speak about a couple of those things. Good things about Skyrim. Firstly, I'd like to say that the character and plot development was brilliant. There was nothing that you could fault in that. You had all the different skill trees that your character could dip into at any point, explore and expand from that. I mean, granted, at the end of the game, you would start to, slow down a bit. You'd dip into a bit of everything, a few points here, a few points there, because you'd realise you'd need everything. Which will bring me into another point later that I'd like to see improved. World design, level design, can't fault it really. I mean, come on now, Skyrim, you go through a dungeon, there's a door that leads back to the entrance. What's wrong with that? Beautiful little, each dungeon had a fairly unique feel. There was always a different thing to do in each dungeon. And also, a big thing, the music and sound effects. I mean, Skyrim, the atmosphere that you create playing that game. You can't really play Skyrim while listening to music. I mean, you can, but it ruins that immersion that you'd get from the game. Now, there is a couple of things that I think that could be improved upon. I'm just going to expand upon the character and plot development again a little bit. The character development specifically was good up until the point when you realised that you needed everything to really get those high levels. If you wanted to make a super mega character, you need everything, which involves a lot of leveling up, a lot of grinding. I would like to see much more specified skill trees that allow you to create a character that will be focused and also be able to play the game around that. So, for example, you don't have to be smithing all the time. You can buy better weapons. You don't have to smith them. You could buy a better weapon somewhere. Yes, you can improve your smithing perk and do all that stuff. But if you have a focused character, that focused character can still enjoy the whole game as it should be without having to dip into everything. For example, if your character levels up to a certain, to high levels, merchants will start releasing legendary items, and you can buy them in shops rather than have to craft them yourself. Which I think would be, it's rewarding to craft them yourself, or even find them in chests, because I don't really think you can find a legendary item in a chest. That's one thing. I'd like to see more specified characters that can do everything and not feel singled out because they've not put all their points into that one skill tree. However, if you are putting all your points in the skill tree, you will get a much greater reward out of what you're doing. So, example, again, smithing, you're putting all your points into there, you're going to get a significantly better weapon that you could buy in a shop, but you could also buy those high-level weapons still, find them, receive them as quest rewards, whatever. This is one that I don't really want to see, but I know will come in anyway, is no microtransactions. I mean, no warning, no microtransactions here, but it's going to happen. Come on now. They've already released the Creation Club for Skyrim and Fallout. Why wouldn't they do it for the new game? I mean, it would be stupid for their business design at this point to not include something like that. I mean, what would be interesting is if they had the coins or whatever. I can't remember what they were called exactly, but the coins that you could get for the Creation Club could be earned through playing the game. So each hour you play in the game, maybe you'll earn 10 coins or something. That means if you play for X amount of hours, you're going to be able to get this. I know it's starting to sound a bit more like Battlefront 2, but this is different because the things included in the Creation Club are bonuses. They're not main game material. As long as there's no main game material in the Creation Club, you'll be fine. That's all I'm worried about. But I don't think they'll do that because they're not stupid. Now, there's a few things here. This is all under sort of one list. Is combat. So reworking combat. I know, granted, in Skyrim the whole whoosh, whoosh, whoosh is very popular. Because it's simple, isn't it? But I'd like to see something more like... I don't know if anyone's ever played Dead Island, but in the original Dead Island there was a control system. I think it was on PC as well. And I can't see it not working, because essentially what you do, if you'd move the joystick or the mouse in a certain way, your character would swing the weapon that way. So you could swing in specific ways and hurt like specific parts of zombies. You know, it was a very gory hack and slash game, really. So being able to cut a zombie's arm off or its head off or whatever using that system. Granted, it was hard to get used to, but I would like to see the option there for people who want to have the just swing back and forth, down, power attack. I don't want to, having more options is definitely a big thing. And I think another big thing as well, which was included in Oblivion, which they didn't have in Skyrim, was being able to cast spells if you had a sword out or a shield out. Well, why shouldn't you be able to? Why isn't there? Look at the fucking keyboard. How many keys are there on a keyboard? You could map those to any of those, and there's no button for it in Skyrim. Why? I think if you had the spellcasting ability, you'd be able to have more characters like paladins in the game, because you'd be able to have the sword and the shield out, but still be able to cast the spells. Yeah, it's one of those it's another little thing that I feel like it improved the game. But the spell usability as well around combat, if that was, if it was more like you could cast spells in combat without having to go into the menu, swap it out, swap your weapon out, use the spell, put it back on again. If you could map a spell to a hotkey, you could cast Stoneflesh while you were battling. So just, and then you'd have your sword back out right away. You don't have to go into any menus. It's just on a hotkey straight away. You don't have to piss around, and it would increase immersion dramatically, I think. I'd also like to see, if that was the case, I'd also like to see no pausing when you go into a menu to drink 1,000 health potions. Map those to a hotkey as well. Why is it so hard to understand on PC? I mean, granted, on a PS4 they might want to, it's more expandable, everyone can do the same thing. Give us the option. I don't care what the fucking consoles can't do. We can. Why can't we? I know there'll be a mod for that, but that's not the point. That's not the fucking point. Another one, which I'd tie in together, is rework stealth and better enemy II. These go hand in hand. If you've ever played Skyrim, you know all the memes. You shoot a guy in the head, he dies, his friend goes looking for you, sits back down again at the same table, carries on drinking. He doesn't give a fuck. Why isn't there more like a high alert thing? Why don't they go around and keep searching the area? It would be much more interesting. It would stop people from just going, okay, I'm going to camp and then wait for him to go back, sit down. Boring, it's shit. Add that interest, keep them on higher alert. Don't make them just sit down and go back to drinking. Have them with their weapons ready at the side. Have an animation for them just holding the weapons at the side, so that when someone does inevitably pop out, they'll be like, there he is. It's not that hard. I mean, put it even, again, have an option for it. Lower difficulties, they'll go back to sitting down again, like old Skyrim. Higher difficulties, they'll stay on alert. It'll make those players who want to play like that, and it'll give them the option. More and more options, please. Another thing I'd really like to see in the game is an inbuilt survival mode like they did in Fallout 4. Again, give the option. Some people will take it. It'll be lovely to have. Rather than have it as a fucking Creation Club bullshit. In the game, please. Straight away. Don't give it some paid for DLC crap. I don't want that. I would like it in the game. Finished, please. Minor, but yeah. And one more thing as well. Rework crafting. God, I mean, it's boring in Skyrim. You just sit there and fucking craft a million iron daggers. Why isn't smithing based on an actual... Why isn't there a little mini game? Why can't I be... Ooh, there's a dagger. Shh, gotta sharpen it on the grindstone. Oh, I broke it. Oh, okay, I'll make another one. Shh, the better you do it, you know, the more points you're gonna get and the better you... These little things. I know they've got a big studio. They have a lot of money. Why don't they work on these little things in the game that'll really make the games better? I mean, they've got like a little lockpick game. Why can't they have another little one with daggers and stuff? They might have even had that in Oblivion. I'm not super sure. I know there's definitely a game I've played where you had to do the whole holding the dagger against the grindstone, you know, balancing it. When you see the sparks, you're doing good. Now, there's just a few minor things that I'm super duper worried about that I will mention anyway. I don't think these will ever be a problem, but they are nightmare scenarios. Nightmare. One of the super nightmare scenarios is only online. Please don't do this. I know with Fallout 76 they're going to do it with that. That's fine. Leave that as it is. Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6, do not fucking touch that with online. Unless it's a completely separate thing, then yes. Have a good single player game. And apart from that, please don't touch anything else in it. Okay? That would be nightmare scenario. If there wasn't online though, I would be very worried that it would be pay to win. Too many companies are doing it at the moment. I don't know whether it's too fresh in people's minds that they wouldn't buy into it, but I feel like people would still buy into it regardless of the situation. We'll find out, I guess. I think there's only one other real thing that's got me spooked out of my mind, and that is that the game is unfinished at release. If that would be the case, it would ruin the company's image for a starter. I mean, small companies releasing an unfinished game, they can sort of get away with it. But there'll be so much hype around this game if it's not finished by the time they release it. If they rush the release, that'll be it. Bethesda will not be making any more Elder Scrolls games. People will still buy it, but they will not be making any more Elder Scrolls games after that because people would be too worried that they would fuck it up again. So please don't do either of those things. Thank you. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe. I need the subscribers. But you know, if you did enjoy it, please just leave a comment. I need to discuss with people about this. I want to talk. I want to expand my horizons. I mean, I'd even go into talking about other games if you have enjoyed it. But yeah, thank you very much. I will love you and leave you. See you all later. Bye.